Why are you who you are? What inspired you to get into this?
You know, your mindset is everything. And that's when I got really into like manifestation, and I was doing all like the Lacey Phillips. Have you heard of Lacey Phillips? And yeah, I just realized how important all of the other things that go into being truly healthy are. It's not just about the exterior, it's really about the interior.
I've really come to the understanding through my studies that having spirituality without religion is essentially having the vessel without foundation, and having religion without spirituality is essentially having the foundation without the vessel. So when all these painful things happen to us, if we change the lens, if we change the perspective of why is this happening to me versus why is this happening for me in order for my light to expand, everything becomes easier to digest.
Yeah.
Spirituality isn't being better or more enlightened. The enlightenment and the wisdom comes as a byproduct, but it's really to understand how to move through life more elegantly and beautifully and enjoy the moment versus sitting in the victimhood of it. Chelsea, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Model, entrepreneur, content creator, and something that I find to be the most fascinating is you are a certified health coach, and you're such a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat today.
Why are you who you are? What inspired you to get into this?
Oh gosh, long story, but I've been modeling for 15 years now. That's kind of where it all started. I mean, I started when I was like 16 or 17. I'm from Canada originally. And I would not say that I was the most health conscious at that time. I was definitely partying. I was going out. I was in college. And my mom tried to always instill in me like, hey, you need to be healthy. You need to focus on this. And it just wasn't something that was a priority for me at the time. And then as the years went on, I decided to get certified as a functional health coach, kind of at a time when I guess my modeling was maybe a little bit slower. It kind of felt a little bit lost. I didn't really know what else I should be doing. And once I got certified, I just kind of fell in love with it. It was already a little bit of a passion of mine, but then getting certified in it, I then went on to get the specialty in gut health and women's hormones. And then a year later, I got certified in meditation and breath work.
But why? What called you to know the gut better and health better? Why?
Well, I think with modeling, you know, it's so focused on the exterior. Like we're focused on looking good. We're focusing on working out. And you know, the advice that you get in the modeling world, I don't think really comes from a nutrition standpoint. And that made me dive deeper because I knew there was something deeper. I knew there was something more. And I think I also looked at it from, you know, a mental health standpoint. You know, your mindset is everything. And that's when I got really into like manifestation, and I was doing all like the Lacey Phillips. Have you heard of Lacey Phillips? Yeah, I was doing all of like the expanded podcasts, and I dove really deep into that. And it kind of just led me down the road. And then I got certified in meditation and breath work because I got very fascinated by it. And yeah, I just realized how important all of the other things that go into being truly healthy are. It's not just about the exterior, it's really about the interior.
It's interesting because so much of the Miami community, especially the women that we spend time with, it's not just we're concerned about our looks. There's a huge mindset wellness community down here.
Yeah.
And Miami gets this reputation for just being a party town, and that's simply not true.
Yeah, I remember the first time I came here, I was like, oh my God, I'm never coming back here. I'm like, I would think I went to like 11. I was here for modeling only. And I was like, that place is like crazy. And then when I moved here, and then now I'm married and live here and have like a whole life here, it's just so wellness to me. You know, it's like outdoors, it's the beach. There's such a crazy wellness community here. Like so many gyms, Pilates studios, like healthy restaurants, and I love it.
What would you say your husband makes fun of you the most for? Because I know every guy I date does the best impersonations of me, like when I'm speaking on stage or doing whatever. What's the thing that he makes fun of you for the most?
When I try to make healthy recipes, like out of desserts, he's just like, oh God. Because I'll make like cookies out of like 3 ingredients. Yeah. And he's like, it tastes like chalk. Or like, I'll just be like poisoning him in the morning. I'm like, open up your mouth, like droppers in his water. Here's your 2 Brazil nuts. You need your selenium. Like literally, he doesn't even know what he takes in his supplement cupboard. I pack it every Sunday and he just takes it. So
it's interesting because a lot of men would not realize that the reason we're like this is because we care so deeply about health and wellness because we know the opposite side of it. And we know what happens when you don't care about those things or you don't take it seriously. Yeah. And even though it can come across as mothering and being annoying, it's actually out of deep love and deep concern for the person you care about.
For sure. I feel like I see all those things on Instagram and TikTok too about like, don't mother him and like, don't take care.
They do say that a lot.
I see it all the time. Like, don't mother. And like, if you have to like fill his supplement thing or like remind him about his doctor's appointments. Like for me, it's like, that's my life. That's my passion.
This is literally our lives.
And like, why am I not going to care about the person I'm spending my life with? I want him to live long too. I want him to be healthy too. So for me, I'm always just like, he did say one time, he's like, okay, mom. I'm like, never say that again. Like, never say that again. Do not call me mom. I'm like, I can stop right now and you can be unhealthy or you can take this.
Right. Yeah. That part. I can stop and not care. But the truth is if you stopped, he probably would be so confused and say, wait, where is she?
What do I do?
Why is she not doing this? What do I take? How do I feel better? Imagine if people didn't do the things that we did versus the things that we do. They feel an instrumental change in their health, their gut, their mindset. These things aren't just to be annoying or to post on Instagram. We know that it works. There's a lot of science behind it.
100%. He was on cholesterol medication when we started dating and he's off it now.
No way.
Yeah. He was on a statin. And then
How did you help with that?
Honestly,
give us some tips on what you did.
It was just lifestyle change, like when we met, he was drinking, it was something as simple as, drinking Zephyr Hills, like water bottles every single day, like 8 of them, you're drinking out of plastic all day long. Something, starting your day with green juice. I would make him green juice in the morning. That made a huge difference. Actually eating full meals, nutritious meals. He was a single guy. Like, I don't know what he was eating, but he's probably going out with his friends and like, drinking and just eating whatever. He's also Italian. So I think there's a lot of pasta involved and stuff like that. So I started introducing just, healthy meals. That was really that simple. It was really that simple. So I think people think it takes like these crazy wellness tips, but it always just takes going back to the basics. Like,
with that said, how he was prior to you, how were you raised? Were you raised religious, spiritual, both, neither?
Spiritual, I would say. My mom was definitely more spiritual. We're always talking about like, be a good person, energy, good energy, the universe. And that's kind of how I was raised. I didn't really grow up very religious, but my husband is, and we got married Catholic, and it kind of opened my eyes a little bit more to religion. I think it's something I would introduce, to my children. But for me, I grew up my entire life having literally no idea about religion. People would talk about it and I would just be like over my head.
What about your dad? Because usually it's in Kabbalah, we speak often to the fact that women are the vessel to receiving the spiritual wisdom and insight, and it's our roles to help the man with it. And the man is the one that's really structured and brings that the more logical, protective brain. Was your dad and mom similar in that regard?
No, it was not like talked about. It was not talked about. He didn't really instill it. She didn't really instill it. There was always a lot of talk about having, faith, all the principles of being a good person, do unto others, have you have them do unto you, don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie, all of those principles that I think that, the basis of religion really promotes, like being a good person, but nothing about, the Bible, or we didn't go to church. And I don't think I actually went to church until I was in college. Well, maybe a wedding or two when I was little. But I think in college, when I was in university and I had a women gender studies class and I had to go to a church to do like a case study on something. That was like my first time doing a mass.
It's so interesting to me because I obviously attract so many women that are spiritual, but there's so many different walks of life. And some, I would say few, still keep the religion aspect as much, and a lot of them are more spiritual.
Yeah.
But I've really come to the understanding through my studies that having spirituality without religion is essentially having the vessel without foundation, and having religion without spirituality is essentially having the foundation without the vessel. And I always thought that was a really interesting way of putting it. And I find religion to be so fascinating and so profound because there's so much wisdom in it alone that I don't know. It's so interesting to me to see who's really gung ho about it, who's kind of not. But then when you have children, everything changes.
Yeah, because I think you see them as such an impressionable, like little being, right? And you want them to grow up to be like the best version of themselves as possible. And I do think, growing up, when I think back to my childhood, I have divorced parents, and I do think, even though I don't feel very connected to religion, I do think that maybe if I was introduced to it at a young age, it would have provided me with a little bit of structure and a little bit of guidance through like lost times or confusion, because I think that religion personally, again, I want to say that I don't really know too much about religion, so not to sound ignorant, but I do think that it provides a guidance and structure for people who need more direction and something to turn to. And I think that, growing up, maybe going through like a divorce with parents and growing up kind of feeling like isolated, it would have provided that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But in my adult
in
years,
hindsight.
Yeah.
in hindsight, you're like, that probably would have helped. But
would have helped.
Either way, it turned out exactly the way it was supposed to.
Everything was meant to be. And in my adult years, I really love spirituality, and I do resonate a lot with, manifestation and energy and Kabbalah. Like you said, I did like a few seminars, and I really, really loved like the messaging and understanding of it, which I've always meant to kind of like dive deeper. I just haven't yet, but I did like a lot of that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What would you say to the young girl who looks at your Instagram and gets overwhelmed because you just seem, which you are in so many ways, beautiful, put together, you're married, you're aspirational, but no one gets to see you day to day and all of your struggles. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
There's not a Netflix movie cam on us 24/7.
Yeah.
To that young girl who sees you, who just feels so overwhelmed because you seem so perfect, what would you say to her, and how would you make her feel more comfortable, I suppose?
Oh gosh, definitely not perfect. And I think, getting to the point where I am now has been a journey, like a very, very long journey. And just to preface, like Instagram is our highlight reel.
Absolutely.
I'm not the type of person that likes to use my Instagram as my diary. I don't feel like personally I need to jump on there and cry or jump on there and be very, very vulnerable just to show that I'm a real human being to my audience, because I do see Instagram as work. I do see Instagram as something where, I'm showing the good parts of my life, because I don't think I need everyone to know every single thing about me. And, I wouldn't say that my 20s were the easiest for me. I left home at 17 or 18 to college. I moved to the US by myself at 22 with not a lot of money. I kind of did it all by myself. I was definitely intertwined with like the wrong people, boyfriends. And, I didn't live this life that I have now. So it was a journey, and it definitely has maybe come off as perfect, but, we all have our struggles. And I think we learn a lot along the way to become the person that we are
It's
now.
beautifully put. I feel so much pressure at times.
Yeah.
That, the way I speak, the way I put myself together, quite often when I meet people, I have this irrational fear of not being perfect enough for them, or when I'm dating someone and, the perfection isn't there, there's severe disappointment. And this is the beauty and downfall of social media, because you really get to show the world all the beautiful things that you have to offer, and perhaps your mission and your goals, but it creates this light around you that can sometimes dehumanize us.
Yeah.
And it's so often that I meet women like yourself and a lot of our community that may appear to be so on a pedestal to so many people, but those people quite often forget what it takes to make a life beautiful happen.
Yeah. The process it took to get there. And I think for me, I struggle with the same thing. I wouldn't say that I show up on social media and I'm like super confident in everything I put out there. I'm overthinking everything.
What sign are you?
I'm a Sagittarius. I come from a modeling background, right? And for my social media as a model, we were told for so long, it's like your comp card. So everything you put out had to be like perfectly beautiful because you're selling yourself. So
old school modeling
if
ways.
a client looks at your social media, you want to make sure you look good. You want to make sure that you are showing that client what you can do. So as I transitioned from modeling to, I guess, content creator on social media, I was overthinking everything. Even if it was just something that had nothing to do with modeling, I had to look perfect. My skin had to look perfect. My hair, my kitchen, the background, and I still feel that to this day. I'm trying really hard to be more organic with it.
Because it was imprinted in our brains for so long.
And aesthetics, I need my feed to look good. And something where I know so many successful, amazing content creators that don't care about the aesthetics, just show up naturally and they do so amazing. And I try to really do that with my own. I sometimes find it really hard, but yeah, it's so ingrained, and I have a supplement company too, right? So I talk a lot about glowing skin and a healthy gut. And when my skin's breaking out, you would think that I would just use that as something to, relate to my audience and show them, hey, I'm human too. I have breakouts. My skin is not the best right now. But since I have like a supplement company with a product that promotes glowing skin, I also struggle with showing up and being like, oh my God, I'm a fraud.
How do you overcome that?
Yeah, I don't even know. It's something that's like a learning process, I think, every single day. And
I would joke about it.
Yeah.
Be like, I broke out and I'm still selling this.
Yeah.
because it's still incredibly made.
It's still
Your
incredibly
product
made.
is really well made.
Thank you. And they're amazing. And it doesn't discount the product. I think that's something, I think a lot of us struggle with, is just like trying to live up to this expectation that we've set for ourselves and no one else has set for us. We have this imaginary expectation of ourselves, of what people think that we should be like. And I think that's like breaking through those walls, is just doing things that are uncomfortable,
What's the most uncomfortable thing that you've done?
Oh my God, I put myself in a lot of uncomfortable situations. I feel like I'm always the type of person that's like, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Anything from like getting certified in free diving because I'm terrified of sharks. And literally jumping in the
certified in free diving?
Yeah.
Did your husband do it with you?
No, God, no. God, no. God, no. I did this years ago and I fell in love with it. But at the same time, I'm absolutely terrified of sharks. And like I was swimming with like bull sharks and everything. It was very cool. But
Was your heart
yeah, well, you feel like
chest?
you're in a video game. You feel like you're like blacked out. You don't even really realize what you're doing. But something like that,
That's cool.
I think that the more you put yourself in uncomfortable situations throughout life, the more confident you become, right? The more you grow and the more confident you become. So I feel like the more I feel the fear of something, the more I just jump and do it. And I think that's something I just kind of instilled in myself.
Kabbalah speaks often to embracing and getting excited about fear, because that's how your vessel quite literally expands.
Love that.
Because we're here as humans, we're spiritual beings in a human body, but our agenda and our goal should always be to evolve.
Yeah.
So when all these painful things happen to us, if we change the lens, if we change the perspective of why is this happening to me versus why is this happening for me, in order for my light to expand, everything becomes easier to digest.
Yeah.
Spirituality isn't being better or more enlightened. The enlightenment and the wisdom comes as a byproduct, but it's really to understand how to move through life more elegantly and beautifully and enjoy the moment versus sitting in the victimhood of it. And for you to sit here and say, I'm doing things that are incredibly uncomfortable for me. Mm-hmm. I would not expect you to say the shark diving just because it's so,
I know, I was
it's
like,
kind of
should I
left
just
field.
I know.
And it's so cool to push yourself to do things like that. I think that's really impressive.
Yeah, because I could say something like, what's uncomfortable you've done? Like, oh my God, I jumped on social media without makeup on.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's so uncomfortable. Like,
That's crazy.
I'm like thinking of
But
something.
that could be for some people.
No,
The
and
guy
that could
I'm
be for
dating
me,
now
too.
is always saying to me, you're always in hair and makeup and camera ready. And I said to him, I've been on TV for years. I've always been in hair and makeup to present. I am a presenter. I'm an educator. This is what I know. And he said, why don't you try something different?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, it's not a big deal. I don't wear makeup all the time. But I realized I actually don't. Not a lick, not a stitch of mascara, not a little bit of eyeliner, because there's always something on my face, even a spray tan. And I thought to myself, what would that feel like? So that might be something I need to actually do without a Paris filter.
Without, oh gosh. Yeah.
Girl, we're getting
Do what
crazy.
you've always done and you'll get what you've always got, And it's like, if you want to, again, like you're saying, like expand, like you got to like sometimes do things that make you, again, uncomfortable in order for you to grow. And I think also too, the more you do things and the more you get knowledge of a certain topic, the more you can expand your career, your knowledge, and share with your community. I think the more you know, the more confident you are,
I think there's also a beauty to adding in the age component there too. Mm-hmm. You see and hear of women in their 40s and 50s, and they just feel so free.
For sure. I'm excited for 40. Everybody seems so like sure of themselves.
40s is very different now than our parents growing up.
For
very
sure.
different, especially when you take care of your body, your vessel. You're actually caring about what you're putting into yourself.
I remember 30 was supposed to be that. I was like, 30, I'm going to be so confident. I'm going to know who I am. And I'm like, I still feel like a baby.
Yeah. I had my son, 29, turning 30, and I'm 37 now. And I feel like I was a child bride, child mother. I had no idea what was going on. I felt so confused. I was the youngest of my friends to get married, to have a kid. Mm-hmm. and divorced. So I
grew up
was
fast.
just very fast.
Yeah.
And it just felt like a whirlwind craziness. But I actually want to ask you, my ADD brain, thoughts on peptides.
To be honest, I don't have that many thoughts.
Okay.
I haven't dove into them yet personally. I'm definitely someone who is very particular with ingredients, as you know, with my supplements. And I just like things to have a lot of clinical studies on them. I like things to have a lot of science and, proof behind them especially before I inject myself with them. I'm not going to say like never say never, like I might one day, but I'm just kind of taking my time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm obsessed with peptides.
You're obsessed?
It's completely changed my life.
Amazing.
My energy, my hair, my skin.
I love that.
My recovery from workouts. I struggle.
Did you have a hard time recovering?
I'm very sensitive.
Okay.
So I think I also take peptides on a lot faster than most people.
I feel like when I think of peptides, I think of fixing something,
Interesting.
I think of like fixing something that needs fixing, that's broken.
I see it the opposite.
You
I
think
see
of
it
it
as
enhancing.
becoming superhuman.
Right.
It helps me be superhuman in
And we don't-
so many ways.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I would take peptides for something like, menopause. I feel like peptides could come in like so amazing for someone that's going through menopause, right? Where you're actually, all of your hormones are off and you actually need a boost of something to come back to like homeostasis. But I guess, peptides can be amazing for just becoming superhuman as well if you want to like get above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really believe, we talked about this on the beach.
I think so,
That
yeah.
once people know how to heal their bodies, heal their minds via consciousness, there is no way to profit off of sickness anymore.
Yeah.
So much sickness
we're advocating
comes from
for ourselves
our
now.
internal mindset, our internal state, our consciousness, the way we treat ourselves. And everyone is looking for a quick fix. And that's why what you do is so much more than just, here's how to make a cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how to take care of yourself so that you don't rely on anyone else to take care of you.
Right.
Especially as a woman in today's day and age,
We
to
need
understand that in order to choose the right partner, to choose the right business or whatever you're going to be in, you have to go inwards in all aspects, mind, body, soul, to then not be needy of anything other than spirituality and the creator, because then you're not taking, you're only giving. And isn't that what it is to act like God?
Yeah. Love that.
Not take. And how do you do that? You have to heal yourself. So via food, via mindset, all these things. And I think modern medicine is just making it 1,000 times easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also too with like, we need to advocate for ourselves now. We all know that.
Creatine's not FDA approved.
It's not, but creatine's been around forever. Like I remember the
Forever.
guys doing creatine in high school and college. And I remember at that time, if you did creatine or you were a guy that did creatine in like college or high school, they like kind of made fun of you.
Meathead.
Yeah. Like you're like, oh, your muscles are filled with water.
Right.
They're not real. You know,
Right, I
that's what
remember
people
that.
would say.
And you're on creatine, right?
I don't take creatine.
You don't?
No, I don't take
because
creatine.
Martha's been pushing hard to take
Yeah, I mean,
creatine.
I think
put
it has
in
a
my
lot of.
oatmeal.
I think it has a lot of benefits. I think it helps with obviously like with muscle, especially as we get older. As women, we know that our muscle declines as we age. Also has a lot of cognitive benefits. So I have nothing against creatine. I think it's amazing.
Give me more benefits.
I mean, cognitive and muscle, I guess, are the two main. That's the main benefits of creatine.
So really, if you're working out, it's super beneficial.
Yeah, it helps you retain muscle easier. And we know as women, as we get older, our muscle like declines rapidly. So especially because we have a higher risk of osteoporosis when we get older. So adding creatine is definitely amazing for women that are above 40. But I think for even in our 30s is great for cognitive and just like building that muscle, because we want that good foundation by the time we get into our 40s and 50s, because at that point, building muscle becomes very hard.
I feel like this is the perfect soundbite. It's like a creatine ad, because it's true. Everything you said is correct.
Yeah.
All the things that used to be silly
Yeah.
are now taken seriously. Even spirituality used to be woo woo, and you just light a candle and put your hands like this, which I do that
sure.
too.
Yeah.
But
I'm
all
very
these
woo-woo,
things
and I
that-
love it.
know, but most people still think it's weird. But quantum physics and science proves otherwise now. So if that's the case with that and everything that you're talking about health-wise, why aren't more women really tapping into this in places that aren't just big cities?
I think that
Do they not know where to start?
I think it's people don't know where to start. Yeah. And people are a little overwhelmed, I think, with the selection that's out there when it comes to supplements and wellness products and practices. Like we could fill our entire 12 hours in a day with waking up, tongue scraping, meditating, ice facial, go for a walk, make sure you do a workout, have your smoothie, make sure you add in your creatine and your protein and this. And I'm the first one to say that I love that stuff. And I will try to fit all of that stuff in.
Chelsea, Kelsey.
Yeah.
We're like, let's go.
I'll do a whole day together. And
We
just
enjoy
do that.
it.
We enjoy it.
But not everyone does.
No, but it's a muscle. You know, I was talking to someone about this the other day. It was like, I just can't bring myself to do it because it's a muscle, like anything in life. You know, it has to create a habit. And you have to, I think people nowadays, especially social media, we want that like satisfaction, that immediate satisfaction. And a lot of these wellness practices don't do that. You have to stick with it. Same thing goes for mindset. Like you have to stick with spirituality, stick with meditation, journaling in order to feel those benefits because it's not an overnight thing.
Beautiful.
You know,
it's the truth.
It's repetition.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
I tell my son, winners have routines.
Yeah.
It might sound crazy to an average person that my 6-year-old every Saturday morning prays. He vacuums the entire condo.
Love
and
that.
he does abs with me. People are probably like, that is a little
He
unhinged.
does abs with you.
Yeah, he does.
That's
He
so
does
cute.
4 minutes of abs with me because in my mind, fitness, movement, it's so imperative. And from 1 to 7, I was told by a doctor that those are the most crucial years to a child's mental development.
Yeah. If he does that now, he'll have it for the rest of his life.
And if I'm teaching a 7-year-old, 6, he's almost 7, how to stay committed to something outside of himself, how to have responsibility and chores, and how to take fitness seriously, maybe he could take over the world at 32. Who knows?
Not enough kids do chores nowadays, I will say. I had chores.
I had a lot
My
of chores.
siblings didn't have as many chores as me, and I'm the oldest.
Really? Because you were the eldest.
Because I was the eldest.
Yeah.
I like came home from high school and I had
sure.
to vacuum the stairs, clean the kitchen, and do all of this before my mom got home.
As you should.
And at the time, I was like, this is so unfair. And as I've gotten older, it instilled so much discipline in me. And my siblings didn't have to do that. And I was like, always like so mad at them.
Did you guys have to do that? Did you have to do chores? Yes, I've always want to know what other people were forced to do because my son's like, this is actually not fair. I'm like, I don't care what's fair. Vacuum the floor. He's like, we have a robot vacuum. I'm like, I don't care. It didn't get the corners.
Literally, or I have a 13-year age difference from my little brother and 6 from my sister. So I was like the designated babysitter on the weekends. Well, my parents were like, we're having a night at the country club on the weekend. And I would have to tell my friends, I have to babysit for my brother and sister Friday and sometimes Saturday. And I'm in high school and like, that was my job. Like I'd be home on the weekends helping with my sister and brother. And I love that. I mean, at the time I was pissed and my friends would just come over to the house instead. But like, as I've grown up, all of those things that my mom made me do, I feel like instilled something in me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's really cool. Take us through your typical morning routine. Obviously it changes day to day, but give us some highlighted tips.
So it used to be more rigid it used to be more structured, I would say. I was definitely like forcing myself to get up at 6:30. You know, I still do a lot of these things that I'm about to go through, but I'm definitely more lenient now. Like I definitely let myself like sleep in a little bit more. If I need an extra 30 minutes to an hour of sleep, I'll sleep till 7:30 just because I know that when I force myself to wake up so early and get to that like 7 a.m. class or 7:30 class, I am so tired the rest of the day, especially if I didn't go to bed early enough. So I'm definitely more lenient with my morning routine. I wake up, I make my bed because this is the first productive thing that I can get done.
To start doing that. That's like every army sergeant that's key.
And also like just makes your room look better.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
For sure.
Tongue scrape.
Yeah.
Go to the kitchen. I make a bone broth.
So you don't brush your teeth first thing. You just tongue scrape.
I just tongue scrape and then I make a bone broth. I'll usually like coconut oil pull with a little bit of clove.
Yep.
And I'll do that kind of while I'm doing stuff because you want a coconut oil before you brush your teeth.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I think
I would assume after, because
someone
after
correct me,
the
but I'm almost
mouth
positive.
is clean, I would think then you pull.
Well, because the coconut oil and clove kind of like clean the bacteria and help whiten, and then you kind of want to brush the coconut oil and stuff out.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think I'm right. And then I have a bone broth. I'll go and do like the shake plate. I'm into the vibration plate right now. I'll do the
I got
vibration.
everyone to buy those too. They're great.
Yeah, I love it.
It works.
Yeah, I feel like it really helps with like your leg puffiness or even like cellulite. Yeah. I turn on my red light and I kind of do it in front of the red light. Yeah, just habit stack in the morning.
I promise
drinking
we're not
my bone
all
broth.
just carbon copies of one another, but
I know.
who cares even if we are, because it works.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're happy.
Yeah. And it makes your morning feel more like at least you got something done that day that was for yourself, you know?
Sure.
And then I will sometimes make a green juice. I'm really big on like celery juice. I'll try to get in a little meditation. That's something that I used to be very rigid with. I would meditate every single morning.
How long?
And journal.
10, 15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've really fallen off of it. I've just like haven't been connecting with it again, you know?
Okay.
Where I would like close my eyes and I would tap in so easily. I used to just be like, oh, I could stay here forever. You know, when you get into those meditations and they're just like in the zone.
Yeah.
And I haven't got into that in so long and I miss it. So this morning I did do a meditation and I journaled a little bit after. Just like my affirmations, like my intention of the day. And then, I'll go to the kitchen. And then I'm in the kitchen mostly. Having my chia seed, my juice, making my coffee after, talking to my husband. We'll either walk the dogs around the block and then I'll just get started with my day.
I love that.
Yeah, like the first hour I kind of designate to just wellness and just feeling good.
I love how all my friends without kids, they're like, 6 a.m. so early. All my friends without kids are like, I started to like just wake up a little later. I want to be like less hard on myself. Baby, enjoy it. Because once the kid comes,
oh, I
it's
know.
a wrap.
I'm
but
like,
you
I'm
should
just
enjoy it now. Like, why not? Really, why not?
I know.
Why not enjoy your marriage?
I think someone sent that
morning?
me. Exactly. Someone sent that I was DMing with someone the one day and I was like, they get up at 5 a.m. And I was like, oh my God, like I wish I could do that. Like I would love to get up 5 a.m. when it's still dark out.
They're like, baby,
have your
just
coffee.
wait.
And she's just like, no, sleep. Like let yourself sleep in. And then I literally adjusted my schedule. I'm like, you're right. Like what am I work for myself. No one's telling me to get up. I can work out when I want. I can work when I want. Like as long as I get everything done and I'm doing my routine, I'm just like, I'm not going to sleep till, because I would feel bad about myself, but I'm not going to sleep till like 8 or 8:30. I will get up at like 7:30 latest.
Yeah.
So if that's not sleeping into some people, sorry. But for me, I'm like, okay, 7:30, like that's a good night rest for me. Going to bed at like 10.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Good 9 hours.
Do you, as a health expert, essentially, do you drink? If you don't drink, do you smoke weed? Do you do CBD? What do you do to relax?
Relax would just be hanging out with my husband on the couch, watching a movie. I wouldn't say that I do any of those things to relax. I do drink. I don't smoke weed or smoke or do CBD. I never really got into marijuana. I think I tried it when I was really young.
Which is crazy because if you don't know, now you know, Canadians love to smoke weed.
Yeah, they do. And I never got into it. It made me really anxious. I was like, I'm such a weirdo on this. Like I can't. So it's not for me. But I do love a glass of wine. I do love to drink. And I mean, I come from Canada. We definitely love to drink. I definitely grew up drinking a lot. So I don't drink much anymore though. Yeah. Usually on the weekends. And my favorite time to drink is like with a group of friends at a really fun dinner.
Yeah.
Even a date. I love a day drink.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. The beach.
Then at night you just chill, go to bed.
Then you go to
early.
bed. Yeah. But even like a nice dinner with friends and a couple bottles of wine and we're laughing and conversations flowing, like that's my favorite.
The best.
The best. Yeah.
What is in your current line? What are you missing? And what's next for it?
Supplements. So right now we have our bestseller, which is our hydrolyzed collagen peptides, grass-fed, pasture-raised, and quality is really important to me. So it's tested for glyphosate, hexane-free, which for people that don't know, hexane is like a chemical.
Explain why that.
Yeah, so glyphosate, people obviously know it's a pesticide that is very heavily sprayed. But the hexane is the extraction process that they use when they're getting the actual collagen from the cow. And it can be like very, very heavy in chemicals. So we use an enzyme instead where we get it from, which is like naturally occurring enzyme. We add hyaluronic acid to ours as well. So it's great for your joints. It's great for our bioavailability. And then we have our minerals and electrolytes. Again, these are unflavored. It's literally just reverse osmosis water, ionic trace minerals and electrolytes. No citric acid, no natural flavors, no sugar, no nothing. You just put it into water and you do not taste it. Number one thing that women are lacking is literally ionic trace minerals. Like we need them and we don't get enough of them.
I didn't know that. See, I just learned something new.
Yeah, not just
why do you say that?
for nutrient absorption, for gut health, for hair, skin, nails, for our hormones. Like one of the number one thing that a registered dietitian or someone with even more knowledge than me will tell someone to get is on minerals when, for the entire body to function more optimally. The minerals are what transport the electrolytes to the actual cell. And ionic trace minerals are actually alive. They're actually like electric and alive and moving through the body.
How do you get them without the supplements? What are they?
Well, I mean, you get like
Rich greens?
Yeah, you get like iodine from seaweed. You get selenium from Brazil nuts. You get iodine and from kelp. You know what I mean? So you can get it in all of these.
I'm not eating kelp.
Yeah, like you can
Casually.
get them all from major food
casually.
and the amount that you're getting, right? You can get zinc from pumpkin seeds. So all of these things that
Things that most people are probably not eating all the time.
Yeah, and how many of those do we have to eat a single day in a handful in order to get our daily dose? So you drop it in your water and you get your daily dose of ionic trace minerals.
Beautiful.
So those two are our best sellers and they're amazing. Like we cannot keep those ones on the shelf because again, the collagen is unflavored. You can add it in your coffee in the morning. You do not even taste it.
Yeah, Kelsey loves to do that.
Yeah. It adds 10 grams of protein to your coffee as well. So if you're someone who, I preach a lot about not having coffee on an empty stomach, but I know a lot of people just wake up. It's very an American culture.
It's so American,
go to the coffee
and
machine.
I'm very, very health conscious.
Yeah, but it's hard.
And I cannot break.
It's hard for
I
people.
can. Let me correct my words. Of course I can break it. But there's something like I really take that morning coffee seriously.
Yeah.
And when it hits my veins, I have like the least addictive personality to anything
And you're just
except
like, good
coffee
morning.
and shopping.
Coffee and shopping.
That just really does it for me. But of course, you're supposed to drink room temperature water with lemon.
Yeah. Or honestly, ideally, you should have something with a fat and a protein in it before you have a I know. If you really.
That's such a Chelsea answer and I love it.
I'm like, well.
Technically.
So, and
that's why you do the bone broth.
So I do the bone broth. And then I have, if you're not prepared.
Do you know any kosher bone broth brands?
My collagen's kosher. My collagen.
But bone broth.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
Yeah. Can you ask around about that? Because I genuinely want to know.
Yeah, I don't know that one. I'm trying to find a really high quality bone broth powder right now too. But
that'd be great.
Yeah. But
because it would also be halal.
Okay. If it was kosher.
Okay.
Those are good like marketing things too.
Yeah, they are.
To everybody.
We sell to everyone.
We sell to everyone.
Flavor.
But it's one of those things too, even on mornings where I don't want to like eat, because sometimes you wake up, you're just not hungry. You're like, I really don't want to eat. I just want to have my coffee and get started with my day. So, I prepare things in the fridge to make that easier. The chia seed pudding, I prep it on Sundays for like the next 4 days. So there's always something in the fridge that I can grab, take a spoonful of, or
that's clean,
multiple
easy,
spoonfuls. That's fiber, protein, fat. I have that after my bone broth, and then I have my coffee. But adding our scoop of collagen into your coffee definitely will mitigate that cortisol spike you're going to get. It's going to buffer it a little bit.
That's what Martha Graff told me. Because I usually have eggs in the morning, but sometimes I'll do oatmeal. And she told me to do gluten-free. Otherwise, it spikes your cortisol. I didn't know that.
The oats will spike your cortisol?
If it's not gluten-free.
Well, it won't spike your cortisol, but maybe it'll spike your blood sugar.
That's what she said. Okay. Blood sugar.
Okay.
Yep. And I did not know that. I don't have gluten issues.
It's the gluten-free doesn't take out the carbohydrates, and the carbohydrates is what spikes our blood sugar. So technically, gluten-free wouldn't cross out the spike that you're going to get.
Maybe I heard her wrong.
Yeah, but
I'm not a big oatmeal person. But when I do, then
you can add a scoop of protein to it.
I do creatine. I do a scoop of her vanilla creatine.
Yeah. So if you add her vanilla protein and creatine to the oatmeal, you will help with that blood sugar spike because you're pairing the carbohydrate with a protein.
What's the big deal about spiking my blood sugar anyway? Why does that really matter?
Well, I love the glucose goddess. Do you know her on Instagram?
No.
She's the expert in this, so I will not really do her justice. But it just talks about blood sugar spikes throughout the day. I mean, it causes glycation, and glycation ages us. It's like, I guess all the spikes that you get throughout the day are literally, let me start that again.
Go ahead. Just edit that out.
I was like, brain fart.
Because I'm like, wait, why would I even care if my blood sugar spiked anyway.
Yeah. So when you eat a carbohydrate, you basically there's sugar is released, glucose, and then your body will release insulin that transports that glucose to its purpose, which would be to your liver, to your muscles for energy. And if we're having all of these tiny spikes throughout the day, then you get something called insulin resistance. And then your insulin will stop kind of doing its job with the glucose. Does that make sense? And the glucose goddess talks about all of these spikes throughout the day causes glycation and actually ages us. It's like the number one cause of aging.
I didn't know this.
I know. So what you do is you take a carbohydrate that you're having, like an oatmeal.
Okay.
And you do a scoop of protein. And then I would add like a scoop of nut butter and even put a little bit of coconut milk on top too. And that way you're buffering that carbohydrate for a slower release. You don't want the strong spike. So if you just had the oats by itself, that would just be a giant spike. But if you added a protein and a fat on top of it, it controls it so that you're not getting these crazy spikes in. And that's how your energy is more stable. You're less foggy. You don't have sugar
same
cravings.
Thing as eating other meals where you want the balance of the protein, the green, some sort of carb.
Yeah. When I'm cooking dinner, I always make like a little arugula salad off to the side, like a tiny one with apple cider vinegar, olive oil, and lemon. And I kind of just eat that before, because if I'm cooking dinner, I'm like one of those people that just snack.
Same.
You know, when you're making I'm making roasted potatoes or sweet potato and chicken. And as soon as the potatoes are done, I'm going to take like 3 potatoes and put them in my mouth.
Right.
But technically, the first thing going in your stomach after you haven't had lunch in a few hours, that's going to spike your blood sugar.
Makes sense.
You want to eat in the order of veggies, fats, and protein, and then your carbs last.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You want to eat the carbs last. And if you're going to have dessert.
What's your go-to meal for you and your husband on a Wednesday?
Oh, I'm simple. People always comment like, share your recipes. Like, I want to know what you make for dinner. I'm like, I'm really simple, but I did realize that like a lot of people have like decision fatigue when it comes to like ordering groceries and what to cook.
Sure.
But I always like focus on a protein. So whether it's going to be like a skirt steak or a salmon or chicken breast, like something that simple, I choose between the 3. And then I pick a starch. Usually it's Japanese sweet potato because I'm addicted to Japanese sweet potato.
So good.
Sometimes I'll do cauliflower rice with like some turmeric and garlic, or my husband loves jasmine rice. I'll do some rice, roasted sweet potato, and then I'll pick a veggie. And I'll do, last night I did sauteed dino kale and collards greens just because I love them with like a little bit of garlic. And I did chicken with Chinese 5-spice and paprika.
Being married to Chelsea is great. I'm moving in. Do you have a guest?
But these are also simple.
It's simple, but
it's simple.
For so many people, it's just, by the time, I'm sure you say this, by the time you order takeout, you could
and I never
throw something
like
in a
it
pan
either.
with some olive oil and garlic.
It takes 2 seconds.
And it takes 2 seconds. It really does.
It really does, yeah.
It's just about the mindset shift.
If you have it in your fridge, you're more likely to cook it, right?
Correct.
For me, like at least if I have meat in my fridge and I have veggies in my fridge, like I am less inclined to open up Uber Eats and order because I'm like, oh, I'm wasting all this food. Like I just need to make this food. If you don't, obviously we're just going to order. But yeah, I just do a protein, I do a veggie, and I do a starch. And it's really simple. Sometimes I get a little crazy and I make like curry and I'll do like a curry dish, or sometimes I'll do like tacos, but that's like when I have the time and I really want to cook. But like on a regular like school night, I'm just like protein, veggies, starch.
What's next for you personally?
I mean, with Sarah and Martina, I guess we kind of moved on from Sarah and Martina with the products, but formulating more products currently. Really excited for, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Formulating products is very time consuming. And like I told you with me, like I do a lot of trial and error, trying to get like sourcing the best ingredients.
You really are obsessed with ingredients.
I'm obsessed.
It really comes out in every which way and form.
Thank you. It's really, really time consuming though, because there's really lack thereof of supplements on the market that follow this like rigid routine that I do. And there's not a lot of raw materials out there that pass kind of like my standards.
What was your favorite brand before creating one?
Did I have one?
Or did you just dabble in a bunch?
I think I dabbled in a bunch. I don't think I had one. I started the brand because I was recommending all of these products to everyone around me. And I started to realize they were all filled with fillers and binders and natural flavors and all these ingredients that I started to learn about that I know are not good for the body. And if I know a lot of people say there's such in tiny doses, you just take it in the morning, but you're taking it every single day. Okay. You want it to be doing its job. You don't want it to be buffered by maltodextrin, microcrystalline cellulose. So in a capsule, right, you have to have a flow agent, something that makes the powder kind of flow and then dissolve as it goes. And a lot of brands use microcrystalline cellulose, and that comes from wood pulp. and cotton grains. So that's in like almost every single supplement that you can probably turn around and see it has. I use something called organic New Flow rice hull, which is just like kind of rice, made from rice. And I know a few brands that use it, which is great. And I love that. But it's very, very hard to find brands that I felt comfortable recommending. And there's even supplements I take now that still have it because I haven't found the alternative. I haven't found a supplement that is this certain supplement that I'm taking that I need a cleaner version. So it led me to create my own.
Beautiful.
And that's why I created Saramatina, so that I felt comfortable, recommending them to every single person. And all of the products started from very common concerns from every woman that I met. The first 2 products we launched with were Glow with Your Gut and Rest and Digest. Mm-hmm. Glow with Your Gut is a pre-pro and postbiotic. And then also we have a bunch of clinically studied vitamins and botanicals for glowing skin. So it has like ceramides, we have snow mushroom, astaxanthin, green tea extract, all of the good things. And the pre-pro and postbiotic, so it's like a super well-rounded gut health supplement. And then we have Rest and Digest, which was for sleep, cortisol, and digestion.
Nice.
So you take 2 capsules after dinner, it helps you digest and helps you have a good night's sleep, tap into that rest and digest mode. And then...
Is there ashwagandha in it? I know a lot of people are crazy about ashwagandha.
No ashwagandha in rest and digest, but we have a supplement called Daily Chill, which has ashwagandha in it.
And you obviously like ashwagandha because it's
I do.
it.
Yeah, I do. I think that it's really important to cycle ashwagandha. You can do like 2 weeks on and then you should take like a week off.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just, ashwagandha can get with your receptors or something like that. I think it can interfere with your emotions. So it can make you feel a little numb. It can make you feel numb. If you take it every single day, you can become a little bit numb. So it's important to kind of take a break. I think if you were to take it every single day, it wouldn't be good.
Okay.
So
product development, that's in the pipeline. What about personal?
Personal. Well, my online content creation has been growing and I've been loving sharing my knowledge, figuring out how to share more recipes. Honestly, mostly with Saramatina.
Cool.
That's my main focus, really focusing on product development. It takes up a lot of my time. So that's the majority of my focus.
Give us 3 tips for a healthier, more beautiful life daily. 3 easy tips.
Are we talking wellness or just anything?
Anything that comes to you.
A healthy, more beautiful life daily. Do something every day that's fun, whether it's literally putting on music in your car and dancing, talking to a friend, laughing, joking. I think that we need more laughter and fun in our life. We need to connect to that inner child. Feed yourself good food, good, healthy food. I mean, nothing compares to eating like a really nourishing meal that you've made yourself with like high quality ingredients. Like it's alive, you can feel it. And speak kind words to yourself. In the mirror, in your head, throughout the day. Like words are power. My words and my thoughts have created this life that I've created today. Without them, yeah.
Beautiful. Where can everyone find you?
On Instagram at Chelsea May, ChelseaMay, and Saramatina at SERAANDMATTINA.
Thanks for coming. This was fun.
Thank you.
I learned so much.
Yay.
I always learn so much from the guests, and I really learned a lot from you. So thanks.
Okay, amazing.